Right, let's start messing with some text. It might seem a bit weird to you that I've started with images and leaving text till afterwards, but ultimately this is about design rather than writing. You should by now have, well, not by now, I mean, but if you are putting this together, you would usually have um, at least an idea of how long your article is going to be, and we start that layout and then we can put the text in later. And we're actually going to start with headlines rather than body text or stand first. We're going to look at what we can do with those. So if we go back to my reference here, by the way, we might end up with a slightly different design. I'm not overly bothered about that. Um, is it time for AI to die? Is a headline I've gone with. I mean, it's not like the most amazing headline, but it will do the job. Um, hopefully note a few things. One is that the actual I've thought a little bit about how to lay this out in a way that is a little bit more graphic, designy. I've used color and scale, and I've used kind of symmetry and balance. So we're going to think about that as well when we come up with our headlines. Um, a magazine headline needs to be short and to the point. It shouldn't be more than sort of 5 or 6 words, really. So I've got my headline here. At the moment, it says headlines can go here. Um, so I am gonna try writing, is it time? And this is my start point for the headline. Um, and what I'm going to do is I'm then going to click on this black arrow up here, and I'm going to double click in the bottom right hand corner of my text frame. And what that does, you may or may not have noticed, is it scales the text frame to fit the text perfectly. So I've got is it time now, and I can move this around. And this is where I start to make use of using things like Control Plus to zoom in, those guidelines as well. Um, so I can move around and get things lining up to some of these um, horizontal light blue lines or the edge of the page or what have you. Just realized it should say, is it time for? And that's probably a useful time to show you something else, which is that I've typed the word for there. You can't even tell I have because it doesn't fit in that box anymore. And so that little red symbol here, that little red plus is saying, oh, there's too much text in here. I haven't got enough room. We'll fix that for now by just double clicking in this bottom right hand corner. But that red box will become very, very useful later down the line. So I've got, is it time for? Now what I can do here is to copy and paste this over, and I'm just going to type the word AI. And this time, making my text box nice and big, I'm going to select the words AI, and I'm going to come over to this properties tab, which I told you was going to be really useful, and we've barely used so far. That's okay. We can start using it now. I'll get rid of this text wrap for now. It's in my way. So this should be kind of hopefully quite intuitive because it's basically the same as Word or anything like that. I've got my text size here. I've got fill color here. I've got ways I can align paragraphs here, what have you. But for this headline, all I really need to worry about is size and color for the moment. What I'm actually going to do is I'm going to make this pretty massive. And a simple rule that can help is just to double the scale of things. So 48.2 times 48, if you're a maths genius such as myself, is 96. So I'm just going to put in 96 there, and I've got a huge AI now. And again, I'm double clicking in the bottom to scale that off. So I've got, is it time for AI? I could line maybe these up that way. We've got this byline here, which I need to move out of the way. Okay, yeah, this is starting to line up quite nicely. And then I could take my is it time for once again. I could copy and paste it, Control C, Control V, do is it time for AI to die? Okay, double click on that bottom right hand corner, move this over here, and go Shift W to have a little look at the whole page. How's that feel? I don't know how I feel about that. I don't hate it. I know I did it slightly different on my reference image, and to be honest, I think I prefer how I've done it here. But you know, I'm not necessarily trying to make everything exactly the same. I do like the idea of playing around a little bit and seeing where it ends up. So I might leave it like this for now. There's always tweaking that can be done. It's good to tweak. It's good to just sort of shift stuff around and see what you can do. Really, I kind of want this to fit um, this margin here, so it lines up with the columns. This fits this margin here, edge of page. Maybe I'm in AI just over a tiny bit. Now the way I'm making really small movements here is using my up and down and left and right arrows, which are very useful. So yeah, okay, it's pretty nice. Could be better, could be worse. Certainly going to look at how I could move around this stand first and this byline for sure. But I've got a start point, and that's all I need at this stage because it's a living, breathing, working document that I'm designing. Color is going to be the next big thing. And I have to admit that InDesign handles color a bit weirdly. I'm going to give a whole other episode of this fascinating tutorial over to color because we're going to want to use color in our titles, possibly stand first, maybe even our body text. So that's what we'll look at next.